Welcome to the Metal Prognosis. My name is Lee, and on today's video we are looking at a VST plugin for guitar called Roots by ML Sound Labs. And what I thought would be really cool is, let's see where we can take it. Now instinctively a lot of people are going to think if you alter the IR, add a third-party IR to it, that's going to have the biggest effect and have the biggest impact. But what I thought would be pretty cool is let's leave that and let's see what they have to offer and instead add something before it and see what we can come up with. So I have the Savage Drive here, which is a pretty brutal pedal, and let's see how they pair up and if it's going to work as well and they don't clash and sound really bad. But yeah, see how this works running in before the amp roots and see if we can make it bigger and better. So let's start plugging stuff in and let's start having some fun. All right, now I've got everything plugged in, ready to go. Let's go to the guitar center. Let's pull up the amp roots. So here it is straight off the bat. Let me grab my guitar and let's see and monitor it so we can hear what the sounds we got. So I've got some bit of hiss to start off with. So we go to the pedal board, put the noise gate on. Makes a huge difference. Really weird that I don't understand why, and Nick Lennon mentioned this as well in his YouTube channel. I don't understand why they don't just engage the noise gate for the default settings. It makes zero sense to me. I don't understand, but we're here now. So a quick tour. We have a bunch of different amps that I don't own because I've only got the free one, and this free one is pretty awesome. I've used it a couple of times. Presets that they've done, the title, the pedal board which I brought up before to do the noise gate. I don't know if you purchase any of the other ones, if there comes with more, I'm not sure. And a license manager, which has its thing here. We have our IR cabs, so that's if you want to bring in your own. I can't remember how to bring up all their ones, because I think, if I remember correctly, and I could be wrong, I think they've got 3 or 4 of their own in here. But let's just deal with the default one that we have right here. Let's see if we can fix it up a bit because I would like a little bit more. Actually, no, let's not fix it up. Let's leave that as it is to start with, and let's just engage the Savage Drive and just see what happens with the straight default settings without touching anything except the noise gate. So straight off the bat, that is a huge jump straight off the bat. So bring some bite in. So what I like to do there is, it's kind of an engineering thing I do with, not so much more with pedals, but when I'm EQing stuff, is I do the extreme one way, then the extreme other, to really get a feel to see what I'm actually altering and what I'm mucking around with. So adding the bite in as hard as what we have, it's added just a tad bit of hiss, but I don't care. I mean, we can go in and up the threshold of the noise reducer, because that might help, but let's just check out the dirt quickly. So I've checked it all the way down. Turn it back up. I just want to hear the difference between them. So it definitely does saturate it just a bit, but not too much. So that there is sounding pretty brutal and awesome, using its, well, at the moment, I don't know, 95% of its default settings, other than just turning on the noise gate. It's got its own little drive here. It looks like it's for a boost, like the old 808, which is cool, but we've got a pretty brutal one here that we're using that is definitely been more highlighted for this video. So now, I'll do a quick A-B comparison. So off. And engaged. Awesome. Let's just muck around a little bit with these settings here, because it's all just set at high noon. I say high noon, and the preset is high noon, so it's living up to its name. Let's see what happens if we just open up the presence a bit. We get a weird effect because it's louder, but I don't know if it's better. All right, so there's a weird little threshold there that when it crosses over, it alters it immensely. I think I prefer it there just before it cracks onto that next tier. That is sounding, yeah, really impressed by that. Yeah, I'm liking that. There's not much more I really want to touch for this video. Like I'm happy to do other videos where we do try third-party IRs and other little things. So I think that would be really cool. But for now, let's do a jam with this, with the Savage Drive engaged, and see how it sounds doubling up on the guitars, adding bass and drums, and hearing it in an emulated band situation to see how it sits in and see how it all works together. And see if it does really blend in well or if there's something not quite right. But let's find out. So sit back, relax, enjoy the tune. We shall have a chat about it on the other side. Hope I'm not too close. Time for some final thoughts of adding the Savage Drive here to the Root amps by ML Sound Labs. So firstly, ML Sound Labs sounded decent, ignoring the fact they didn't have the noise gate engaged straight off the bat, which is, I still find really bizarre, because there was a decent amount of hiss in there, and if you're going for first impressions, I don't know why they didn't just engage it to start with. But moving on. Not touching much of the settings as you saw, so we didn't add really much gain or muck around with that. We only touched the presence a bit. But adding this here, I felt like, firstly, straight off the bat, positive. It definitely took it to a next tier and made the sound a lot more alive and a lot more in your face, in a good way. And the few things that really stood out for me was it added a lot more brutality, a lot more aggression, and there's a lot more cut through as well in the mix. And it actually tightened up the sound as well. So when I was playing a lot of the chords and a few of the lower notes during the little demonstration I did, especially in my low tuning guitar there, so that 7-string is in drop G. It really cleaned it up a lot. So it was pretty awesome to see how some analog gear matched up with some digital gear really worked together. And I really felt like it came alive a lot more. And I think that's the key word, I think, to take out a list. It sounded more alive. And when I was jamming it, it felt really alive too, like I was actually using like an amp and speaker in the room when I had everything engaged and rocking. So yeah, Savage Drive adding up to the Roots amp plugin. Very cool, I reckon. But most importantly, what are your thoughts? How do you feel about mashing these two up? And how do you feel about the results? Or did I miss something? And as I said at the start, I wasn't going for a third-party IR there because that's a whole different world. So I'm happy to do that in other videos, absolutely, because it's heaps of fun. But for this video, I was definitely keen to see what the plugin had to offer straight off the bat. Just opening up with the main default settings as a starting point and as a foundation to build from, where can it actually take us? And this is where it took us. So once again, thank you very much for joining me in this video. It was lots of fun putting this together and mucking around with the Savage Drive again because I haven't used it in a while. Always a good excuse to bring it out. And I thoroughly look forward to chatting with you next time. And until next time, please stay safe.